Hi, everybody. Hi, Kyle. Hi, Jeff.
Yeah.
Hi,
Cody,
Cody.
you know Jeff's coming in from the East Coast, right?
I think I saw Jeff on the last one. I remember him saying that. Yeah. Also, how you doing, Jeff?
How you doing, Cody?
Great.
Hi,
Awesome.
Catriel. Hi,
All right.
John.
Hello. And I know,
Hi, are you in your home office or your real office?
are you asking Catriel or Jeff?
Kyle. I'm saying, are you at your real office or your home office?
No, this is my home office.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started just so we can stay on time, and I'll let people in as they come in the room. Oh, I hear you, John. All right, thanks, John, for joining. I know you're on the go today, so we really love that you're joining today. A couple Zoom rules. Please mute yourself when you're not speaking. We recommend speaker view for presentation. Video sharing is optional, though I'd love to see all your smiling faces. Please type all questions and comments into the chat. We definitely want to hear your questions. Today, we're going to be covering a topic that we've never covered before. So it's really awesome. We have awesome guest speakers today that Dana will introduce a little bit. And if you have any questions, please feel free. We'll have a Q&A at the end where you can ask questions then as well. A quick update from Autism Tree. Since shelter in place happened last March and when the global pandemic first hit San Diego, we have now reached over 588,000 people through all of our social media platforms, which is crazy. So our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everybody, these are the daily posts that we post. Goes out to this many people, which is incredible. Thanks to everyone who has been following us through this whole COVID journey. Our posts have been shared over 1,017 times, which is wonderful. Thank you for sharing our content. All of our virtual events that are going on and all of our videos as well. We've been posting videos daily and weekly since COVID last year, since March of last year. We have now posted 387 videos are available on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe today if you haven't. It's easy, it takes 1 minute. We've posted 340 of those videos since March 12th. And those videos are all from our volunteers, our community partners, since it's BTC, Boys Team Charity, TVIA, Team Volunteers in Action, NCL. All of these amazing philanthropy groups have been wanting to interact with our kids and families throughout this time. And they've been creating 1 to 5 minute videos of fun activities for our kids to do at home together. And also reading with Autism Tree, reading children's books for our kids and families to our kids. We've now posted 107 of those videos and reached over 50,000 people. We've also provided, like I mentioned before, virtual events, 257 virtual events to date, which is incredible. We couldn't do it without all of our amazing program managers. And we also have 12 events coming up between now and the end of June, that we're always constantly adding new events, coming up with new ideas on creative ideas on how to serve all of our families in our community. And 19 of those 20 programs that we offer are virtual. We will have our Bridge to the Beach camp in person in July this summer, which is very exciting. So more details on in-person events coming soon for later this year. And without further ado, I'll pass it off to Dana and she will share our guest speaker today.
Thank you, Rebecca. It's so nice to be here with everybody. I can't believe we're halfway into this year. I mean, it's June. It's just crazy to me. And yet, you know, with the Lunch and Learns, I've just come to realize after a year of Lunch and Learns, what number is this? I didn't look at the slides. Sorry. What number are we on, Rebecca?
It's 54th.
Okay, 54. So I could say without any hesitation that I'm truly proud of every single Lunch and Learn, and it really isn't about how many people are on the call. Every person that comes is just icing on the cake. What it's really truly been about is the essence of taking time to appreciate each speaker. And it's really been a gift, I think, for Rebecca and I in our new working relationship since Lisa left. We put a lot of our heart and our energy and our reflection every single week. And there's no way I could give Rebecca that kind of experience in like any other way than this. Like she gets to see so much work that's gone on with so many people. I mean, we're 54 weeks into it, and we can just keep doing this because 18 years. This is what it's taken, the dedication and the commitment of a massive army of people with the biggest hearts. And so, really, what makes Rebecca and I think, dedicated to continuing is first, we have the support of the chairman of our board, Todd Hoff. He really believes these lunch and learns are very important. He actually has only been on one, and it was all because of Cody and Kyle. It was with Mass Mutual with Kelly, and he came on for that one. And but I tell him every week what we're doing, and he gets it. What the point is that every week we don't micromanage really what's going to happen, and that's kind of been the beauty of it. And I say this, and everybody on here knows that already, but I'm just reinforcing that the essence is the authenticity of each speaker, the heart of each speaker, the dedication that they have already done, part of the 18-year picture. Or with Cody, I'm quite thrilled that Cody's been around a few years, but each time that I've had a one-on-one with you, Cody, through Zoom, unfortunately, hopefully it'll be in person in the future, I know that you are the right person to be sitting in front of our families in a very personal way that I've never opened our foundation up to before. And when you speak about it, I'm quite thrilled because I know that you're meant to do this. I can feel it. And, you know, we all have different chapters. So it's just going to be great to be part of this chapter of your life. And like I was saying on our pre-call with Cody, I have the same passion as John Hickey, who's been running the program. We started the USD football program. That is how we met Cody in 2018. I mean, it's 2008. So it has this huge legacy. And I really want to see all these amazing football players that loved on our kids and families continue to stay actively involved as professionals and get to know them as they grow into professionals and have their own families. I want that to be a bigger part of our family tree. So Cody, this is kind of my start of my welcome to you today, to just say my heart has been insane for the USD football program since the day I met Wendy Carragher, the coach's wife, Ron Carragher. Her son and my son Garrett were in 3rd grade together. So I'm not sure if you know that, but I told her, you know, it was really great how her son Scott was so wonderful to my son Garrett out on the field at a USD football game. And I said, we're going to be doing a parent mentor program at USD and a Winter Wonderland. And she said, yeah, that's incredible. We like our football players to give back. Can all my football players, I'll talk to my husband, all the football players will come to the Winter Wonderland and they'll play with the kids. And I said, wow, that would be incredible. And then when it all happened, it was a bit chaotic because I show up with a car full of stuff, and then Ron comes out with the football team in 2008, and I didn't have enough stuff to even give all the different players. And, you know, I was looking at the coach like, okay, I know I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying. And he was so great. And it was pure magic. Once our kids started arriving and being paired with the football players, the coach and his wife, Wendy, and I just kind of stood back and went, wow, this is it right here. And that's really the essence of that, the program, and even the Lunch and Learns, is we just let everyone organically connect and grow. And that's what we've been doing together on these Lunch and Learns. And I just, you know, I really can't say enough. We're starting our 2nd year of this, and we're starting with you, Cody, on something that is very, very personal. Getting into the homes of our families kind of takes my breath away. So I'm really, really excited to have you on here today and to learn from you. And I also want to kick it off. We have a question, and it's kind of might seem a little bit lighthearted, and I kind of wanted to keep it light today. but obviously I think I know what your favorite sport is. But for fun, do you want to answer this question and everyone can type it in? Um, what is your favorite sport to watch or play?
Yeah, I'll take it away. Definitely football, but I gotta say, probably biggest. I'm a huge golf fan. I love watching golf. I love playing golf. Um, that was always kind of my favorite thing. Right next to football, always in the off season. I felt like I was a two-sport athlete just because I would go straight to golf once football was over. But yeah, definitely football. I don't have a team necessarily for that, and then if I'm not doing that, I'm a huge sports fan in general. But I'd say those two are definitely the ones I enjoy the most.
I love it. And it's funny. I don't have a good attention span to watch sports on TV, but I love watching the Super Bowl every year, regardless of who's in it. That's like my favorite thing to do every year. I like make all the Super Bowl food, and I don't like to go to Super Bowl parties because I like to watch the game like intensely with Todd. um, that's really fun. I don't even know what I'd say about what sort of sport I like to play right now. But I hope everyone else is participating. It's fun. Like that was a surprise, Cody, that you like to watch golf. I love it. So this video, guys, is a little longer than what we normally choose. We try to keep it about 2 minutes. So this is a special video from our own Autism Tree archives. So if you don't mind, we're going to show it. It's about 6 minutes, but it really shows you the heartbeat way back when we started the USD football program. So I hope you'll enjoy it with me. This is from our own ATPF archives.
We have 10 different programs that we provide children and families with autism. And one of our favorite programs is the USD Mentor Program. I mean, it's amazing to see the coach and all the players just feeling like they're getting as much out of the opportunity experience as we are. It's an awesome partnership.
One day, Dana Hoff and I sat and talked about how we can get these young men in our community helping kids who need them. And her kids were the perfect fit for our boys.
I was really touched that day too when I saw a player with a band that said Autism Tree Project on it that we had given out at Winter Wonderland, and he had never taken it off, and that it was April. So he had had it on for 4 straight months. And I went up and talked to him, and he became our player liaison. His name's Kyle Negretti, and he's now playing for USC. And he's like, I know, in addition to your family and a brother to you. And I'll never forget that day meeting him as well.
In December of 2008, Winter Wonderland was a great success for the USD football family and the Autism Tree Project Foundation. We just had a remarkable night and a night to remember with all the kids at the Autism Tree Project Foundation and their parents. We had Santa Claus there. We had glitter flying with a bunch of ornaments. We had Rudolph's red nose being painted on little kids. We had a green screen with Frosty the Snowman. And we just had an unbelievable night. And so that following spring, that would be in April of 2009, the talented Joel Anderson came out and spoke to the USD football team after one of their spring practices. And as a thank you, the Autism Tree Project Foundation provided a chili lunch, which just was great. We had a great time spending time with the kids and with Joel. And so that following year, so that following football season, that would be this football season of fall of 2009, we actually started a mentorship program with the Autism Tree Project Foundation. And we had 23 USD players sign up to be partnered with one kid from the foundation. And it spearheaded just an unbelievable opportunity to serve and mentor and be a role model, to have fun, to bring these kids out down to the field after, I don't know which game it was, but they came down to the field after. We had a bunch of pictures. People were signing autographs. I would give him my cleats away to Joel, wristbands, headbands, you name it. And it was such an unbelievable experience. And it's an experience that I will cherish for a lifetime, because the smiles on those kids' faces are something that I will never forget.
I think it's great to reach out to people in any way, shape, or form, and it's been a nice relationship seeing our players grow and develop, and then seeing the Autism Tree Project Foundation children grow as well, to overcome fears, to be able to come to football games, to cheer on our team. It's really exciting to be a part of that.
And when we heard about this program, we were kind of elated to find out that, you know, there's this spectacular program that benefits both typical individuals. I'm talking about the football players themselves and the kids who are in the spectrum. And so with the experience that Jake, our son, had during his first visit to the game, we were so excited because he had a 360 degree turnaround as far as tolerance with noise, with crowds, and since then he's been really adjusted so well with all the noise, you know, in the situations like a football game.
It's really fun getting to meet all these awesome football players that really help everybody.
What did your guy mean for you?
He was a really good role model. He was fun to be around. Just a really nice guy.
Patrick Thompson, number 69, gave Lawson this jersey on Lawson's birthday this year when he came to Lawson's scout meeting to talk to his scout troop about being an Eagle Scout. And Patrick said he's going to help Lawson out whatever he can with that too, and keep being a big brother for him and whatever Lawson needs.
The meet and greet is very special because it allows the kids to come out, and it's the first time that the players really get to meet, you know, some of the new kids, and the players get to meet some of the new players, and it's kind of a mutual, you know, it's kind of a mutual excitement thing, because, you know, you're meeting for the first time, and, you know, you're kind of getting used to each other.
As I said, Football Fun Day was my favorite day. Seeing all the kids have the experience that we do every day, a little more fun with the tackling the bags and catching footballs. It was a great time.
The Autism Tree kids are our #1 fans, and it's always great to have them come out and interact with them. It's always a blessing to have them around.
I hope you all love the video. This is the quote I picked out. Cody, knowing how important this program is to our children and families since 2008, a mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself. And Rebecca, if you could bring me back up a little bit. I really love that quote today, Cody, because I feel like I saw that in you when you were talking about helping the families that you have so far in your new job and what you're going to share with us today. I think, you know, you have a gift, and I see that in you. And so it's, I think that quote, you know, I picked it out before talking to you today, but it really is illuminated in you. And Rebecca always does such a great job pulling photos from the archives, and these are the ones we have with you. So there you are at the 11th annual USD football player meet and greet, which Audie was talking about on that video. And it's not that long ago, which is pretty fun because the program's been around over 10 years, but there you are in 2019. So it's keeping it fresh. And then you know, there's one of our meetings with you on Zoom just this March. And I can't say enough how much I'm really blessed by you reaching out through John and wanting to really work with and help the Autism Tree families, and knowing you are part of the Autism Tree. It's meant a lot to have you bring Kyle on and get to know Kyle and Kelly. And I know I like to always do a plug for our neuroscience conference. That means a lot to our organization. And I hope that Kelly will be involved in our Autism at Work panel for the neuroscience conference, which is going to be absolutely our most global reach, because it's going to be on the UCSD TV platform, which is a huge platform for us to use to really connect with people all over the world in a way we haven't before. So just really excited to share with you your journey, Cody, and to say thank you for the love you've already given our children and families when you were a football player at USD. So huge gratitude to you and warm welcome. It's all yours.
Yeah, thank you, Dana. Thanks so much. And I got to say, seeing you and John on that video, that was an older video. You guys didn't look like you had really aged at all. So kudos to you guys. I need the secrets. That was like an 08 video, but yeah, as you guys could see, and Dana, thanks for the introduction. My name is Cody Darrow. I played football at USD from 2018 to 2020. Finished up during COVID. I had another year left, but kind of decided to transition to my career now. I grew up in Chino Hills, California. I went to Fullerton Junior College before USD, played a couple years there. I had an injury in high school, so I needed to do some rehabbing there, and then transferred to USD and had a great time. It's awesome hearing all the stories and seeing all the old pictures too from the Winter Wonderland Fest, because I think that was the real first event for me where I kind of like got introduced and really into ATPF. I'd been at USD for about 3 months and had given back a lot in my hometown and through my years, but was kind of looking for something more to do down in San Diego. And I was just super happy I was introduced and kind of brought along in the ATPF slowly. You guys saw the picture of me and my little buddy, DeCedric, and the Dumas family. Just awesome people. Got to really get close to them my second year at USD, played a little more and got to see them. I think my favorite memory was we had the pizza party on the field after one of the games. It was actually probably my best game at USD, and then being able to see DeCedric and his family on the field and play with him for a while after the game was an awesome memory. So I thank you guys for just being able to continue to work hard. Rebecca's hard work, Dana's hard work, everyone that is involved, John's hard work, making ATPF possible, and the partnership with USD football is awesome. And I think me and Dana have talked about it a lot, just how much it's touched the football team. I just know how many guys like that I was a part of, that it was really important to them to give back to the foundation and be involved. So we really appreciate you guys, and thank you guys for even putting in the hard work to make this happen. Wanted to also introduce my partner, Kyle. He's on the call. Kyle has a depth background of working with special needs families. He's one of our experienced advisors in our special needs program that is a part of Mass Mutual. Background on me and Kyle, we're both partnered with a firm called Capstone Partners, and Kyle's in our LA office. I'm in our Newport Beach office. We have a couple other different offices across the West Coast, Vegas, Denver, Utah. But got introduced to Kyle. I guess I have to go all the way back to an initial conversation all the way back in November with John, just checking in with him and talking to him and hearing about all the good news that ATPF had, and just all the new, up and coming events and different, revelations that they were having. And John was all excited. And I was thinking, I wanted to have some part of what I did in my current career as a financial advisor, being able to give back and really provide education and provide that support to people that, didn't necessarily have it or weren't exposed to it. And I had such an already beautiful relationship with ATPF. I thought it really a light bulb went off in my head after I talked to John, and I kind of talked to some of my resources at my firm and got connected to Kyle. I didn't even know Kyle before, this kind of started going in my head, and I was referred to him just because he's done so much, great work with, nonprofits and special needs organizations. Me and Kyle hit it off. We've had great conversations, and through the months I've been able to develop a really great relationship with ATPF. Lots of conversations and deciding how our relationship would work, but we think we've really been able to do a lot and have a lot of great conversations. And actually in the last couple of months I've been able to meet with one of the families, the DeCedric's family, the one that I'm very close with as a trial run, and also had some great conversations with John Hickey, just about their own personal stuff. So yeah, just that's pretty much what we've been able to do. Kyle, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit and some of your background also?
Yeah, my name's Kyle Annis. I've been with Capstone since 2017. Our passions is really what's led us into meeting with ATPF. I started with a couple nonprofits, South Bay Down Syndrome nonprofit in South Redondo, also some foster care communities I've been in touch with. And that's really kind of what got me into helping the special needs community, was just kind of wanting to bring those resources, awareness, and education to those families and help them out as much as I can. And when I met Cody and got to easy to get along with type of gentleman, and you could tell his passion where his passion was. And so it was a no-brainer to reach out to ATPF and see what we could do to help any way we could.
Yeah, so thanks, Kyle. I appreciate it. I just wanted to be able, because Kyle's a huge part of, what I've been able to do, the education. I've already learned a ton from him just on his background and his experiences, and hopefully be able to, me and him can continue to take that forward and do a lot of great things with your guys' foundation, and just continue to help and benefit as many people as we can. I wanted to share some of the experiences. Unfortunately, the Dumas family couldn't be here today. They've been traveling back and forth and having some different moves and stuff, but just wanted to share with them. Me and Kyle were able to sit down with Olivia Dumas, had a great conversation with her, really broad overview. And that's how we see a lot of these, initial conversations going. It's really relationship based. We want to get to know, what they have going on, what are their big goals. A big thing for me and Kyle, and, where we look at is, what are your goals and how are we going to accomplish it? It really comes down easy as that. And me and Kyle just have it on a spin of like the financial side of, how are we going to plan and prepare for some of these goals, whether it's a house, whether it's a vacation, whether it's, college planning or different things like that. And a great benefit of having Kyle around too is just his adept knowledge of the different benefits that are, out there in the special needs community, different, programs and, different ways of making it a lot easier and taking advantage of the things that are out there for these families. So we were able to do a lot of great things with Olivia, worked a lot, just expenses, getting her organized and stuff like that. I'm sure, a lot of families within ATPF can attest that it's probably, very stressful and day to day. And it's nice to, me and Kyle just look at as, having her back and, having whoever's back that we work with and being able to really hold their hand and inform them, answer any questions they may have and kind of point them in the right direction. And, the more people use our relationship and ask us more questions, I think the more they get out of it, which is the best. So yeah, been great with her, hoping to continue our conversation with her when, life calms down a little bit. I don't think it really ever does for anyone, but hopefully we can find some more time with her. And then we're able to have a lot of, great conversation with John Hickey. John was one of the first ones that we talked to, associated with ATPF, just trying to, see where we could fit in and, see how we could help. It's been probably 3 or 4 months now, the span of our conversations with John, just a lot of small discussions, getting to know each other, getting to know each other's goals and, kind of our process and what John's trying to accomplish. I'll let maybe John, if he can, share a little bit about his experience, but I know we uncovered a couple things that, really were brought to light to him and hopefully will be a benefit to him in the future. But yeah, John, do you want to, I know you're on the call today, would you like to share some of your experience over the last couple of months?
Yeah, it's kind of loud because I'm sitting in a high school parking lot right now. But yeah, actually, when Cody reached out to me, my wife has handled our financial side of things for most years, and I've tried to get her involved. And with COVID and her school and a bunch of other stuff, it was just like wasn't good timing for us. But our second phone call I had with Cody and Kyle, I was like, hey, is there anything we can do with ATPF families? I mean, I'm not going to be, my wife's not ready to jump into it yet, but could we introduce this to ATPF? So I took it to Dana, Rebecca, and, their concern was opening up our families to a financial company and, giving away everybody's data. But once Cody and Kyle assured us that, it was going to be all positive experience and everything, we decided to move forward with it. And we're excited about, getting our families hooked up. And I mean, my son's 21 and I learned a few weeks ago that there's such a thing as a special needs trust. So, my wife didn't even know about it either. So little things like that, can make a big difference in a family's life and a kid with special needs and having a nest egg for their future. So thank you, Kyle and Cody and Kelly, if you're out there, for, hooking it up and making this happen. And just straight up, thanks, Cody, for stepping up and being that guy.
Yeah, thanks, John. I appreciate that. You've always been my main contact at ATPF. I know we've had some good times through different events and whatnot. I just appreciate your hard work. I'll never forget. I think I'd been at USD for like a week or two, and we were doing our summer camp when the kids come down for like the last practice of summer camp. And I always remember you just seemed so dedicated, and it was great to just get to know you over the years and build a relationship with you. And we just appreciate your patience and cooperation throughout our conversations. And hopefully, we can continue those and continue to make an impact on you and your family's life. But yeah, between those two conversations, it's been great. Hoping to continue to reach out and just get to know more and more families. I think that's an awesome thing too, just getting to hear everybody's stories and getting to know so many of these amazing people that are associated with the program, and just how hard some of these parents and brothers and sisters and everybody works to just continue to put on a beautiful life for each other. I think it's awesome. Next, I kind of want to bounce it over to Kyle. I really want him. He's the expert, and I want him to get in depth a little bit and give a 1,000-foot overview. And know, Rebecca, if you could kind of throw on our one-page pamphlet, I'll let Kyle take over and really highlight some of the things that a lot of people that Kyle has been able to meet with take advantage of, and where we think a lot of areas that people can work on are at.
Yeah, certainly. So really what John even said earlier was he never heard about the Special Needs Trust. Now, Cody and I were so educated in the finances and financial planning that we see and we hear and we discuss these terminologies all the time, and what it takes to go through a financial plan, from expenses to goals to the time horizon you want to accomplish these. And that's really the roadmap. And then when you bring in a special needs child, children, or family, there's just a couple other checkpoints that you need to be aware of. And the more, and I use that word very specifically because when I get to sit down with these families and start talking to them about an ABLE account, about these vehicles and instruments that are made for families that have disabilities or a child with disabilities, and a lot of people are unaware that they are even out there and how beneficial it could be for them to implement into their lifestyle or implement into their plan. And then we always want to be forward thinking on what's going to take for that family and what for that special needs child, and any assets that are going to get passed down to the child. We never want to affect any of the government benefits. So Special Needs Trust is a way to make sure that those assets that get passed down are protected without the government benefits coming in. And so Mass Mutual actually acquired a company many years ago, and we implemented the Special Care Division. And that's where Kelly Piacente and I got to cross paths. She's the director of our Special Care Division, where it's just planning specifically for families with special needs. And as you can see right here, our mission is to help educate the families and caregivers of people with special needs about the importance and steps in creating a life care plan, that's what we like to call it, to help provide a secure financial future. And so bringing awareness, bringing a lot of education, touching as many families as we can. And as you can understand, the financial plan is different for everybody and what they're trying to accomplish as a goal or alleviate as a concern. And then before you know it, we've met with several different nonprofits. We have a bunch of attorneys and CPAs that are on our side. So there's just a lot of resources that we can bring to the table. If we can help that family directly or can't help them at all, we can at least point them in the right direction. So it just feels really good because we know how sensitive finances can be in somebody's life. We know no one wants to get taken advantage of, and it feels like families that have a child with special needs are hesitant to get to sit down with a financial professional. And so we just want to break down those barriers and really bring a lot of education to the table. And if there's any way we can help, we sure will. So.
Thank you, Kyle. I have definitely questions for our families. I know they're going to refer back to this. This is being recorded and we have families watching from home. But I want to touch base, thank you so much to the both of you for being here and talking about this topic. A lot of our families come to us in a state of fear and anxiety, especially about, their child. If they're newly diagnosed, they're overwhelmed about the decisions that they have to make, investing or, in their financial lives, and are worried about making mistakes financially or in the future. What is that even going to look like? So having you here to try to create realizing that they can help them create a positive future for themselves and their families is really valuable. And we're not giving away anyone's data or information from Autism Tree. That was the one special thing about Cody and Kyle, is that they're here to educate. They're here to answer your questions. So my first question is, do you offer a free initial meeting usually for new people?
Yeah, it definitely, and I think John can attest, and everybody, there's no upfront. We don't even know a lot of times if relationships are, going to go on and on. It's all very fluid. And, I would say the initial meetings, there's never really a point where like, hey, like it's time to, start paying up for our time or anything like that. It's really just a relationship base and seeing where we go. There's usually two areas. There's the implementation of like, easy products or just easy advice that, we're able to give people. And that's where, probably a lot of the families will lie. And then there's other, more in-depth situations where they got a lot going on financially, not just complicated wise, but maybe a business or different things like that. And that's where me and Kyle can take a more in-depth approach. There's no definitely one fit all, or and to answer your question, Rebecca, yes, the initial conversations completely just get to know each other and completely free.
Awesome. So everything at Autism Tree is free, so we like to keep
exactly,
because there are so many financial obligations, therapies, and that our parents pay for. Sometimes you don't know if the school system might offer it or if even insurance might cover it. So that's definitely something that we've been in the talks with Cody and Kyle and have come to trust them completely with. So why don't you guys give us an example? Well, Kyle, maybe this might be more of a question for you. Cody, you can chime in as well. Can you give us an example of the first couple checkpoints and couple steps that parents who have a child who is newly diagnosed, what advice you would give to them? What are the first couple steps that they would take?
First couple steps is really get that conversation going. Sit down with Cody and I, or an advisor that you may be friends with or have access to, and get that conversation going. A lot of times people are not organized, don't really understand what they have coming in, going out, if they're structured properly. And just getting a third party, a second set of eyes on there, and just kind of holding your hand and walking you through that. And then allow us, since we have special needs designations, to allow us to make you aware on other vehicles that are out there, paths that we've seen similar families go on. And everybody always likes the excitement of how can I grow my money? And a lot of times you need to look at how we can protect the assets you have, especially if we're talking about retirement and beyond. How is that going to affect the family, and how can we position ourselves as best as possible? So it's hard to talk specifics. A lot of the times we hear about an ABLE account, an account specifically for people with a disability. And then how do we pass on our assets, or God forbid, if we're not here, who's going to take care of our son or child, or daughter, is what I wanted to say. And so, and then you got to really start understanding how that is affected with the families. And so bringing, again, education of what's out there, how do they work, and what fits particularly with you, is a case-by-case basis. So at least having that and opening that conversation is step 1, 2, and 3, honestly.
I remember when Kelly also spoke a little bit about the letter of intent, that type of thing, creating a will, I'm assuming. So are there any other basic, things that you can share of the first couple things that they might look into doing that you suggest on that initial phone call that you have with them?
Initial phone call, is just kind of really assessing them like a doctor. We want to understand kind of where you are today, where you'd like to go. Are there any concerns that you may have? And then kind of let's see what's behind the curtain. And so once we get down that, we get to educate people. A lot of times we see, the worry is, hey, if my husband and wife, if we're not here anymore, what's going to happen to our child, right? And so that's when a will and trust happen, in the letter of intent, which is kind of like a manual on what you would like to be done, or have your child be taken care of when you're no longer there. So, making sure that those assets are protected is a lot of where that will and trust is. And the letter of intent is just kind of how the direction you'd like to go in. There's vehicles that can fund the rest of the life for the child. Many times we see a lot of life insurance becomes involved to make sure that if we're not here, who's going to take care of the house, any of the bills that are coming along, the therapy sessions for our children, how does that get taken care of? And then just a lot of organization, right? And resources that are out there. Are there other therapists in my area? Are there other organizations I can get involved with? Maybe occupation for my child later on, things like that. We have those kind of, that network that we can definitely get you in conversation with. So those are typically the most common areas that we see with families.
Yeah, and a big thing too, out of our conversations with John, and Kyle's extensive network, we were able to kind of point him in the direction to multiple different resources, lawyers, special needs lawyers that are specialized with working with families and, setting up these trusts, these wills, and really being able to, because me and Kyle, we're not, we can't do everything for these families, but we want to be able to point them in the direction of people that we know and trust and have worked with, and that have a similar mindset of doing good and making sure that these families are in the right positions. And I think that's a great resource that we provide also, is just the extensive network of individuals that are also out there doing a similar thing.
Awesome. So how long would you say is this initial process? I know it's as you mentioned, it's a relationship that you're developing with the family. But kind of how long does it take to kind of get things going, would you say?
Yeah, it typically takes 3 meetings easily, right? The first one is just to make sure if we're going to be a good fit. And a lot of the times we know we can at least point you in the right direction. So that always leads to meeting number 2. And then meeting number 2 is going to be a lot of data gathering, understanding what you have, where it is, how it's working, and why. And then we educate on that. And then we start to sprinkle in the other areas of awareness for families with, a child with disabilities. And so then we start to get into that. And then we get into meeting number 3, which is we got to digest that information. We understood, what you'd like to do and the concerns that you're scared about. And then we can start to then find a way on what we can at least advise on. If it's either directly with us, or we can get you in touch with those CPAs, those special needs attorneys that we work with on a daily basis. So it's a trusted network that, hey, I need to get this trust. I didn't know that the benefits were going to be affected for my child, so we need to get that taken care of. Well, here's 3 people that we work with all the time. We love them. Why don't you have a conversation with them and see which ones that you feel most comfortable with?
Awesome. And I know we have a lot of families who are have children, like Autism Tree has been around for 18 years now. A lot of the children who were diagnosed in 2003 are now graduating from high school and getting ready for, going into college, or going into the career field if it's possible for them. What are some of the questions that parents should be asking themselves when their child turns 16 or in high school, to prepare for their child's independence later on? As a financial planner, do you have an answer for that?
Yeah, we do. That's a loaded question as well. But, you really want to understand how the benefits are going to be affected, right? The government benefits that you're receiving. There are a couple age brackets where it starts to change. And if there's any assets in your child's name, are those in the right assets that can be protected? We've seen such things as grandma left some life insurance to her granddaughter, right, who has Down syndrome. And that's a beautiful thing to have, but the government benefits that you're receiving are often what they call a loan. So they have these things called clawback provisions. So if any assets come into the child that has disabilities, or now adult that has disabilities, there can be some ramifications on what their government benefits. It could cease to exist until they've taken that account all the way below $2,000. And so what are ways that we can do to protect that? And keep those government benefits coming in, and use that money that grandma gave to them to be beneficial later in life. So those are some things that we start to look at. What is the Social Security disability benefits going to be, and are we maxing those out? So we do have some individuals who focus on that as a profession, to make sure to dive in and make sure you're getting everything that you should be getting as a child or adult with disabilities. And that's really kind of a moving target. You know, it's different for different families, but there are some things when they turn 16, 18, and 21 that we need to take a deeper dive into.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great. It affects the whole family. I mean, not only are you educating the parents, but the grandparents too, or, you know, whoever wants to leave money for that child or help that child throughout their lifetime. So that's really wonderful. You have all those resources at your fingertips. I know that we have, you guys have definitely sent us a whole document that has kind of outlines everything. Can you tell us more about what that is and when it comes across in this whole process, what it, yeah, share more about it.
Sure. So that is our handout that we give to families to do a life care plan that we were talking about earlier. And it's just all the things to consider. And honestly, I get a little scared every now and then when I look at it because it seems so daunting, right? There could be 4 pages of things of, have we even been thinking about that? And that goes back to what I was saying earlier, is opening that conversation. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And a lot of times families are like, it's dawned on me, but I really don't have the time to kind of think about that. And then when I do, I need my hand held to make sure I'm even asking the right questions. And so we like to send that to them to show you how detailed we can get with this. But we're always going to be there for them to hold their hand and walk them through. Because at first, when you flip through 4 or 5 pages of stuff, you're like, my gosh, this is going to take me forever. And now you start to get a little hesitant on going to that second meeting, even if the first one was just a wonderful moment. And so we just it's kind of like a long staircase, right? But our first focus is that first step and that second step. And before you know it, we're 10, 20, stairs up on this thing. So that's what we really like to do, and want to make sure that we're taking a detailed, in-depth look on how we can be a resource and be beneficial to these families.
Awesome. Well, if anybody has any further questions, you can always feel free to reach out to me, and I'll provide Kyle and Cody's information in the recap email as well. Is it okay if we include that life care plan start document as well in the resource recap email?
I don't know. I can confirm with you on that one. I'm sure you can. I just, I'm speaking with compliance. They always want to know who, where, and who's it touching and where's it going. So we typically give those to families when we sit down with them the first time, so we know exactly it's not getting marketed and branded in all different ways, shapes, and forms. But yeah, I mean, to your trusted families that have a child with disabilities, by all means, please pass it along.
Thank you. We'll definitely include the special cares one pager that, we just showed on the screen a little bit earlier.
Wonderful.
And thank you so much, both of you, for your time. I definitely want to take a group picture of everyone before we go. Right. So now's the time to turn on your camera if picture. Okay. Big smiles. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Any final comments from any of our attendees? I know I asked a lot of questions. Jeff, go ahead.
Well, I just want to take this opportunity, Cody and Kyle, great job, guys, for your presentation. Just want everyone to know that I posted in the chat wall that I actually created a website on WordPress.com. The link's in the chat wall as well, and it documents my journey with autism, and also documents all the events that I've done in the past, whether they be autism related or not. So.
Aww. If I have a question on that, I did try to accept it, and then it required all this stuff. Do you have to pay money to be a member to get access, or how? I
don't know. I mean, you might have to. I'm not sure. I mean, you can just you're welcome to visit it and stuff, and I mean, just kind of. I mean, you could always you can always visit whenever you feel like it. You don't have to, follow it and stuff. It's just I just wanted to show you what I was working on. So
yeah, well, I just want you to know, if you ever have a link that goes right to your stuff and doesn't require all this other stuff, please text it to me.
Okay.
Yeah, because we always want to stay up to date with what you're doing. And everyone on this call, if you don't already know, I think you do, most of you, but Jeff is just a huge advocate for helping people understand autism and being a great advocate for not only yourself but the autism community. So I always welcome your input, Jeff. I really appreciate how much I've seen you develop this role in the last year. Is so impressive to me. It's honestly one of my biggest blessings coming out of the Lunch and Learn is seeing how much you initiate and how much you are really forging forward. And same with you, Terrence. I want to give you a shout too. You guys are both doing a great job of advocating and being leaders, and I couldn't be prouder of you. And I want you to know I appreciate when you take initiative during the Lunch and Learns and keep moving us forward. So thank you. And I wanted to give a shout out to Marilee. I didn't know you were on here until I put the gallery on. If you, Marilee, is there anything you want to say? I really value that you're on here. I value your time. And, Cody and Kyle, Marilee is, I would like to say, an autism whisperer from what I experienced when my son was diagnosed. I had never met someone that saw my child when he was little, and I was going through trying to understand what autism was. I met Marilee, and she invited us over, and I'll never ever forget it. And she's a professional, but I met her in such a nurturing, warm hug. I feel like it's the essence, Marilee, of Autism Tree. We just have a family that sees children exactly where they are and just surrounds them with love and gives them that security to be who they are and keep overcoming the challenges that the child and the family are facing. So I didn't know if you want to give anything from your perspective about the topic that we're talking about, Marilee, today, because you serve hundreds, if not thousands, of families in your career. And I, for one, will never forget the love that you poured out on our son when we didn't know you and he was diagnosed. It will stay with me as long as I'm breathing, Marilee. It was that overwhelming. I felt like I went to Willy Wonka and I was in a different world because of how unbelievable you truly are. You go into a home, because a lot of people don't know what it's like to have a home program. Marilee does. And you're a new parent and you have full-time jobs, both of you, and all of a sudden you have all these people coming into your home and it's totally overwhelming. And so it was amazing to see that Marilee has this special gift. So sorry to be so wordy, but I have to take it at this moment to just say, Marilee, how much I love you on a personal level, how you made me feel when my child was diagnosed, and to think about how important this topic is right now. I feel it would be a missed opportunity not to let you share or any of your thoughts.
Well, thanks, Dana. The feeling's mutual, because I think your heart is what Autism Tree is all about, and we all feel that very strongly. And it's a big reason why we're all here too, because of this warmth in the community that you've created. But I do think this is really important to have the special needs trust, and because that isn't a concern right away with the very young children and families that I work with, but it is later on. And it's a very scary thing for people to look at. They don't want to think about caring for their child if they're not around as they grow into adulthood. And it's a very important topic in terms of another way of caring for your child. And so I think it's really nice to have the relationship built, so much with Autism Tree, with Cody, and also I can't think of your friend's name, but both of you. I think it's really important to have trusting people associated with Autism Tree so that we might be able to bridge that gap, so that it might encourage parents to take that next courageous step in helping to care for their children. And so I thank you for that, as well as Jeff and Terrence. I'm just so happy to have you on these calls. And I just am feeling just so great in the way you're stepping out into the world and being yourself and showing who you really are, and really exploring the whole idea of neurodiversity, and helping us all understand that better. And you're just really powerful examples to our community, and we're so glad to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks so
Marilee.
much. That's nice. I enjoyed it.
Oh,
It was so nice. Thanks for
Well,
understanding, Marilyn.
Cody and Kyle,
Yeah.
thank
Sorry, Marilee. Sorry.
parents.
Thank you very much.
All right, Cody and Kyle, welcome to our family, and thank you so much for being here and being a part of it. We're very grateful for the time that you took today, and we hope, we'll stay in touch, obviously, and we hope to see you on future Lunch and Learns too, and we'll plan some educational workshops for our families too in the future. We're really excited about that.
Definitely. I'm super excited. I know Kyle is too, just to continue our relationship and keep going forward. And we'll always be a resource for you guys in whatever ways you need and whatever ways the families need, whether it's education or sitting down with somebody that's concerned about something. We're always here. And I'm glad we're just able to build this relationship and, have each other's trust and continue to go forward throughout, the glory years of ATPF coming soon. So I'm really excited.
I wanted to mention one more thing as I didn't know that Terrence, first of all, I want to make sure Kyle and Cody know that Terrence is our spokesperson. He's been doing a phenomenal job with the San Diego Symphony Meet the Instrument program. So we're extraordinarily proud of Terrence. And if you guys haven't looked at any of his, we'll make sure in the next e-news, hopefully you both get our e-news, that we do a recap on the 8 weeks that Terrence introduced each Meet the Instrument video and maybe the whole impact. I know the San Diego Symphony, Terrence, just had a board meeting and they were asking us for all the stats, like how many people watched it, and they were adding it to theirs. So that's something we want to share out with our community is the total partnership. How many people watched everything you did in both our community and the San Diego Symphony's community. Another thing I didn't want to forget, Terrence, is to share something I normally don't. But I didn't know until you became our liaison at Autism Tree, and I got to spend time with you and your mom, that your mom works for the San Diego Regional Center. And I think that's really important for everyone to realize because I didn't. And that means that the Regional Center is so good and provides so many programs. The one program that was most meaningful to me as a parent, a new parent, when Garrett was diagnosed, was the parent program that they had called More Than Words. So the Regional Center provided that. So I'm just bringing it up as I know the Regional Center provides many programs, and I do not know what they do in this area. And I'm not sure, Kyle, if you already work with regional centers, maybe you can educate me on that. But I just wanted you to meet Terrence and know that his mom is very involved in regional center, and that's a new thing, Terrence, that I learned. So give your mom some love from us today too. And Kyle, if you want to mention anything about if you have any relationship with regional centers, that'd be great to know.
Yes, we do have a couple contacts at some regional centers in the LA area because that's where I kind of started my network. But more than happy to introduce you to them. We get referred from them quite a bit.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
That's really important to know.
Okay.
Yeah, because what we might want to do, Terrence, is invite your mom onto one of their workshops. When Kyle does a workshop, and Kyle, you'll want to make sure that you talk about maybe that as one thing, because Regional Center is an active part of our community.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, because most of our families get something from Regional Center. Wouldn't you say, Marilee?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Just wanted to cross-check that with you.
Yeah, no, I think that's really important. That's a great resource because it provides services for families really, through the lifespan in many cases. So yeah, that's really an important resource if we can connect.
Yeah, Kyle, I think it would be really good if you help us going forward, keep inviting people when we do the workshops. Give Rebecca and I a heads up on what other agencies refer to you besides Regional Center, because that's something that we want to keep growing. Jeff and Terrence and everyone else on the call is, now we've already been serving one generation, like Rebecca was saying, and we have more people that are adults that got diagnosed with autism late in life calling Autism Tree more than ever during the pandemic, talking about getting diagnosed in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. And So we want to have more awareness for what is out there in all these different government services. Regional center is the one I'm most familiar with because I went through that myself as a parent. So I learned firsthand. But there's a lot of other programs out there I haven't gone through. I'm aware of on a very superficial level, but I'd like to have more connectivity, and especially on the future lunch and learns, Kyle, where you're going to be talking, where you get referrals from some of these agencies. We need to link that in San Diego too.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, through COVID, it has not had the same connectivity levels as we once had, but with this June 14th coming out, you know, we know that, you know, the families have been thinking a lot more recently about planning going forward. And so I'd be more than happy to make some introductions.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to mention is we have a lot of military families, and I want to not forget them. So if there's anything that you guys are doing that's related to military families, we need to put that on future agendas to make sure those agencies. The one I'm most familiar with, Marilee, is over the years the Exceptional Family Service Center, but there might be others. I'm sure there are. But we are actively having people on our team that want to get the military more involved in what Autism Tree already does. And I've always wanted that too. So it's just a matter of we don't have enough staff. But I wanted to put it out there today because of conversations I've been having with other ATPF team members that are actively working on things like that. Specifically getting the military families to come and participate in things Autism Tree is already providing.
And
all of our programs.
Dana, I work directly with a partner out in our Vegas office that was former Marine for many years, and he is similar to Kyle, just in the military space of like how he's very adept in all the different benefits that military also receives on that end too. So that's definitely a conversation we can have if you guys.
Yeah, I would love you to bring him on a lunch and learn, if not something else separate from that. But I mean, when you guys are doing a workshop, it'd be great to have some of these people on it because we'll have our families on it too.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, thank you everybody so much.
This was so.
Thanks so much. It was nice.
It was a great starting point, guys.
Well,
thank you.
Hope everyone has a great rest of your Wednesday. Thanks for joining today. And
no problem.
We'll see you again soon.
Thank you guys.
All right.
All right,
Take
thanks
care,
so much.
guys.
Bye.
Thanks. Have a good one.